Hi, guys. How are you? Happy Sunday afternoon, early evening. I hope you guys had a great weekend. We're going into Thanksgiving week. You probably have your kiddos home and everybody's getting ready to make Thanksgiving dinner. I don't know what we'll do this week because I don't know. There's a lot of cases that were on trial this week that kind of wrapped up. So I'm not like I want to stream another trial. I like streaming the trials. I miss doing that. So I'm gonna see what maybe if anybody, I don't know if there is any trials this week. If not, if there's not trials, then I'll just keep going over um Chloe Driver's trial. So we'll do that. And then um I I think I'm going to um schedule the premiere of a video for uh Black Friday because it's a Boone video and Black Friday seems fitting for her. So be looking for that. And then of course her sentencing is scheduled for December 2nd, I think at 1:30. I'll have to check the Orange County clerk's docket. But anyway, that's what's going on. But today I wanted to share a couple things that I found. So one of the things that I found was two phone calls between Jason Spillers and Z. And they are from this year. And in fact, one of them, the first one is on November 11th, 2024. And the second one is on November 13th, 2024. So this would be right around the day that Spillers testified, if I'm not mistaken. Let me yeah. Jason Spillers testified on November 13th. So 2 days prior to his testimony and then after or the day of his testimony. So, hey guys, welcome on in. So I'm going to share the channel that I found these phone calls on. It's a channel called Jay. His channel has covered a lot of trials, a lot of cases, and from what I can see is a cool channel. So maybe check it out and give Jay's channel a subscribe. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Here we go. Let's see. Let's start with Jason's calls. Now, obviously, you guys, because these calls are not mine, I have to pause for fair use. Let me make sure this is the right one. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And I don't, I rather just play the call and then talk, but it's not mine, my calls. So, oh, do you know the channel, Shelly Beans? Okay, cool. Definitely have to, I hope he's okay with this. I'm giving him, credit or whatever. And I'll of course add his channel to the description, whenever the live ends. But, so this is, let me hide this really quick. So you guys can, oh, shoot. That's not what I meant to do. Let me hide this. There we go. So you guys can see. All right. I mean, it's really audio. There's really nothing. I guess I could leave it up. It's just audio. There's no like visuals with it. All right. So this is from 2 days before he, oh, he's a curmudgeon. I love a curmudgeon. I'm going to check his channel out more. I just found these today and I thought, well, let me share this with everybody and see what they think. But yeah, all right. Okay, good. All right, here we go. So let me play this. All right.
Thank you. Please remain on the line. Hold for acceptance.
I still can't move past that hair. These ones. Like, what's happening right here? Why is it like that?
This is a direct pay call from
Jason Spillers.
Oh, bullshit. I'm sorry.
an inmate at the...
You know what? You guys are right. I need to say hi to everybody. Hi, Shelly Beans. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Our Urban Homestead. Hey, Megan. Hey, Grandma Sherry. So good to see you. It's good to see you too, Bushit. I'm sorry. I've just, I don't know. Okay, let me just say what's going on. Okay. I did watch that interview with Seth. Okay. And I've really been wanting to like go over that interview, but not in the way that I think people expect. But I don't even know if anybody would be interested in that, number one. And number two, I'm not even sure what the point would be. It feels like, unless I'm willing to rip one side or the other to shreds, that nobody cares. So I don't want to waste y'all's time if it's not even something that you're interested in. So I'm like, I have an idea for it and it's kind of in the back of my head and I've been mulling it over since Friday. And it's kind of stuck in my crawl, but I don't want to, like, I don't know. I don't know. It's got me feeling some type of way. Okay, here we go.
Cherokee County Jail. Charges for your call have been accepted.
Hi. Howdy. How's it going?
No real change.
I can't really hear you. It's going.
Very little change.
I see. Yeah, I'm just hanging out here. There's a lot of code being displayed. So I'm just, I spent a lot of time just being still, really, really still today. Just trying to hold some space and just doing my best to produce some balance in this place. So that's it.
All right. So we're off to a fantastically awkward start. Okay. The way that he testified, which is super interesting to me, is that, Jason was like, oh yeah, we still talk. We're still cool. He's still my bro. All that, right? Like he's, like they're like, two peas in a pod, thick as thieves, as it were. And Z is like, the only way I know how to describe it is, remember when you were a teenager and you're waiting for me? Okay. When I was a teenager and I was waiting for this one guy to call, right? And the phone rang and I answered it and it wasn't the guy that I wanted to talk to, but the guy that had been following me around like a puppy for, ever. And I made it very clear, we're just going to be friends, and you are just, you don't want to be rude. So you say hello and you speak, right? But it's hard to hide that initial disappointment in your voice when you hear who's on the other line. That's how it feels to me. All right, here we go. And he's trying to make positive change in jail. Are you converting everybody to being pee drinkers, Jason? Is that what's going on? That's how you're going to heal the world and make it a better place? Okay.
I just wanted to give you a quick call. They're going to lock us down here soon, but just wanted to give you a quick buzz. And
Well, you know, I mean, the only thing is sitting with it. I just wonder how big the circus tent really is.
yeah, me too.
Apparently, Shayla heard Katie say to her, and I was like, I didn't hear that line from her. She said that after I talked to her about what we said, and I was like, wait, like, how big a circus are they trying to, like, how, oh my God. And then I remembered this business, and you might remember from way back that I kind of put out of mind. They got into a Trackaway beer for about 2 weeks, and then stopped talking to me, and we were in Sarasota directly after, and I received that call from Kendall. Do you remember all this?
Yeah.
And she said Wani's lawyer contacted her and wanted her to do all the stuff that she didn't want to do it. Remember?
Okay. So right there, what Z is talking about is, excuse me, I don't understand all of his codes and the umbrella and whatnot. I guess the cover. I don't know. The only thing I can think of that an umbrella does is cover. So who knows what they're talking about, like with their code words. But he's the person he's referring to about calling, being called by Chloe's lawyer is his first baby mama. Hey Michelle, it's okay. It's fine. It is what it is. So yeah, he I guess that's what he's talking about. And it's interesting to me because Z's first baby mama was subpoenaed, right? And they did, get have her testify. And to me, it didn't seem like she seemed uncomfortable, but but I can't, it feels like, I don't know, maybe the uncomfortableness was just because she didn't want to really relive this, number one. And number two, cameras in the courtroom. Do you know what I mean? But not for not to protect Z over here. Yeah, it just, I don't know, it's weird. All right, here we go.
Okay.
So the point was they were already all over this, playing this game. In fact, so he just, who knows,
Yeah.
And I put it out of mind, but that was the whole thing with Landon. And then Lauren Paget shows up by March because of this whole news thread. People were chatting and tells anybody like that. Remember this whole business to contact parents or contact the lawyer?
Yes.
K-Bar from the Reddit things or whatever these secret places people were chatting. And yeah, so like.
What secret places people are chatting, you lunatic? Reddit isn't secret. It's public. You can go there. If you know about it, how secret could it be? What are you talking about? Oh my God.
There is a funnel, and that's when Eric and Renee stopped talking to me in that March.
All right, so Eric and Renee are Chloe's parents. Now, I'm going to say this because the trial is over, and I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't say it. There is the situation that exists between Chloe and her mom and Z and her parents and the money and all those other things are weird. Like, I don't know. It just gives me like a bad vibe. It doesn't, we are missing a huge amount of information that is probably not like pertinent to the actual case itself, but is pertinent to my nosy Parker ass. I want to know. But I also wonder too, and I learned just because I was thinking about this when we were like, just thinking about it right now in my brains. Remember at Leilani Simon's sentencing, they talked about things that they knew that were happening during the investigation that weren't brought out at trial, but they did do it at the sentencing phase. So I'm kind of wondering if maybe we'll hear some things, like maybe some of the calls between Chloe and Z at sentencing. And the same goes for Sarah Boone, because remember, Mr. J asked Sarah, and he was direct about this, if Sarah looked at any of the adult websites. He asked her that for a reason. And the only reason, I got a picture of him. Hang on, I'll give it to you guys. The only reason that I can think of that he would have asked that question is if he must have proof somewhere and to show her a liar. So what would be the point of asking her that question? Like I kind of feel like later it's going to come out as if Sarah was looking at adult content and yet going at, George about it, sort of like Much Ado About Nothing, shaming him for something that she herself actually did. All right, hold on. Let me download this really quick. It's on my Streamlabs, but it's not on this one. All right. But I kind of wonder if some of these calls and stuff aren't going to come out in the sentencing. I hope they do, because I would love to see or listen to some of these calls. Okay, so you guys wanted to see Z. There he is. Now, that's been a couple of years ago. So he would be almost 45 this year. He's an Aquarius. I mean, I don't know what else to say about him. Obviously, when that mugshot was taken, he hadn't had access to soap, water, a brush, none of those things. So there you guys go. There he is. He's a looker, and it's really hard I can't believe he doesn't have more women lining up to be in his harem, but what do I know? All right, here we go.
So, yeah, I don't. I'm just particularly disgusted and daunted because they just have no idea how big the circus is.
Sure.
What circus? What are you talking about? I don't understand this. You're acting like, and let me say this. The fact, what happened to your daughter at the hands of her mother is abhorrent, okay? Make no mistake. But I don't understand this circus unless you're talking about your friend who's on the phone right now, like you're referring to him as a clown, then yes, I absolutely agree. 100%. But as far as circus, I don't understand what you mean at all. I mean, it's not like this case got media attention the same way that Leilani's trial did, Karen Reed's trial, Alex Murdaugh. Like, what circus are you talking about?
I was talking to Jerry again.
Oh, interesting.
Doug and Katie are pretty much just disgusted by this whole thing and want it to be over with. It just sort of implies that they know even more than they're saying about what it means about this fiasco. Like, there might have been some cross back and forth. This is just making me not want to come at all. Like, I don't get it. I also want to come to get in touch with Katie tomorrow and just be like, is it too late for you guys just to call me as a witness? Like, what are we doing?
Okay, also, he's been subpoenaed. Okay. He is on the witness list. And just so you know, when you are subpoenaed like that, you're under, not always, but in this case, they're under witness sequestration. Sequestration. I said it right. Okay. Meaning you can't be communicating with other witnesses. That's number one. So Jerry, I don't know when you spoke to Z over here, but yeah, not allowed, buddy. Also, you're speaking to Jason. I drink my own pee and have for years spillers. Z. Also, not allowed. He's a witness. You're a witness. Not allowed at all. Period. So I don't know what's going on here, why there's all the, and then you want to talk about, like, you're acting like there's some kind of cahooters about you, like against you. Whatever. Here we go.
Yeah.
And what's Jason even doing? He's not even talking. Is this like,
anyway, do you have anything?
hold on a second. What is Jason doing? Jason, are you trying to get time off of your charges? Are you working on being a snitch? I feel like he was working on being a snitch. I think that's what's happening, y'all. I think he finna snitch his friend out. Here we go.
Was going to say, if you did come and they tried to arrest you on that silly thing with Kyle, and you did pay a bond and you just put a squiggly line as your mark for your signature on the bond, then you could later have that undone and say that you signed under duress, just so you know. I mean, you're obviously signing under duress anyway.
Fantastic. Not only is Jason an expert in drinking pee, women, male and female relationships, but he's an attorney. Who knew? Jason, do you think that this is going to be the bail bondsman's first fucking day on the job? Is that what you think? Do you think that they're going to give him a bond if he only marks a squiggly line on this where it requires a signature? I mean, come on. Hey, everybody coming in. Good to see you. Thanks for being here.
But I just wanted to, if you hadn't considered that, like the whole, like, being arrested for Kyle thing, and, instead of just, like, waiting it out like you should, they probably wouldn't hold you for like a week or so, but, just so you didn't get held up. If you wanted to pay, they probably wouldn't give you, but, like, I mean, a couple $1,000 bond, I guess, who knows. Which would only cost you like hundreds of dollars to get out of jail, and just put a squiggly line. I on certain things, I just put a squiggly line. Like when I accept my commissary orders, I just put a squiggly line because that's my signature under duress.
Oh, fantastic. That is fantastic. This is you. I am amazed that you're not a Supreme Court justice. Honestly, Jason, how has the depths of your legal mind not been fully explored? You are on a whole ass recorded phone call. And it's not like, surprise, we recorded you. Okay. No, the jail announces it when you make the call. And they remind you when the call is connected that you're being recorded. So fantastic. If this is your legal strategy, perfect. You're doing big things, bruh. Big things. Huge.
And you could be released, and then you could, take the correct measures to
Signed a question mark.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you should.
What is this?
Yes, exactly.
Listen, if this dude is the poster child for drinking, the benefits of drinking your own urine, I'm going to have to take a pass. I would never consider it in a million years anyways, but just on the off chance that just for a second I entertained it, if this is the length, if this is the kind of wisdom that comes from drinking your own urine, yeah, hard pass, bruh. More awkward silence.
Semicolon.
Semicolon
We're
is,
not sure what's happening there.
yeah, nice. Semicolon after your baby mama tried to
Yeah.
end her own life.
But I just wanted to call and touch base with you for a minute. Katie Gropper and her crew are supposed to come finish up with me tomorrow, so I'll call you tomorrow after I'm done with that, or maybe by tomorrow.
They are working tomorrow.
What's that?
They are working tomorrow.
Yes.
They told me last week they were planning to come and see me tomorrow.
Yes. Z, I know this is a really difficult concept for you, and I know you also can't hear me. So it would be, kind of pointless if I said this next thing that I'm going to say anyway, because I don't give a rat's fat kneecap. But most people work in some way, shape, or form. That's how they get their bills paid. They don't talk poorly about the government and then apply for government loans. I'm just saying. I know that's a difficult concept. If you'd like, I can draw you a picture. Jesus.
Okay. I mean, because there's no court because it's...
Yeah, the holiday. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
There's no court, okay? But that doesn't mean they can't come to... The jail's open 25/8, okay? If you're an attorney, it's a little different for visiting hours. But for the most part, if you're a prosecutor, you can come into that jail and speak as long as you're not doing it on, a time when they would have the pod locked down or there's not a security risk. Okay. Like, I don't know why you're acting so shocked. Either one of you two yahoos.
They're planning. They told me that they were going to come and see me, so I'll.
Good. I wanted to reach out to her and go over some of this stuff again.
Sure, 100%. Yeah.
After talking to you and Jerry and what's come to light, all of it is just like. I'm also curious that she didn't mention to you Court TV, and she didn't mention it to Jerry, because I just talked to Jerry again today. So it was like, that's odd.
Again. Okay. So Jerry also has already testified by this phone call. Okay. But what is his other name? I can't remember now. Brian Z hasn't. He's still under the rules of sequestration. So the fact that he's even talking, either one of these two. Yeah, Benjamin, Ben Michael, Z Brian. Yeah. Him. I can't believe they're even communicating with each other. Oh, God. Here we go.
It almost leaves.
Actually, it almost leaves just space in my mind. I bet there's a whole lot of space in your mind. I bet there's like a fucking galaxy of space in your mind.
This is space in my mind, like she doesn't even know yet.
I got you.
Know what?
Well, I think that's probably the highlight of the whole thing is that it's going to be televised.
For sure. But like I said, according to John, we don't even know that it's not going to cancel the whole case.
Right.
Of course, if it goes through, yes. Well, hopefully it doesn't cause full.
Back the milk truck up. Are Z and Boo Boo the Fool trying to sabotage this case? Do they not want justice for Hannah? What is happening here? What are these two jokers plotting at?
I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't even know either.
I got you.
For all I know, it's the best thing to just cancel the whole thing and not even go through. this, and all the games they want to play are just
Yeah.
you know, that's the thing now. Like, for years it's been drifting, and then for these 2 months, I felt like I had to read on the whole thing, and now it's the last week and a half, it's just so fatigued now. Like, I just don't even, it's like so obnoxious.
Yeah.
Dennis Perry, like, who's under the circus tent?
Well, I'll be in court on Tuesday, I have a feeling, and I'll call you immediately afterwards and let you know.
Oh,
So-
fantastic. Here's the deal, though. First of all, like, what are you fatigued about? This is such an odd conversation because it feels like he actually doesn't care. I can't believe I couldn't remember all of his 11 billion names when they're in the dadgum title of the video that I'm actually sharing on the screen. Wow, Jen, you're a freaking genius. Maybe you shouldn't be talking about other people in the space that they have in their minds. Yikes. That's what I get. But it almost feels like that Z is worried about potentially being prosecuted himself, which is interesting to me because at this point, opening statements have already started. Now, he's not allowed to watch the trial. But he's a victim in this legally, all right, because Hannah is his child. And sometimes shit just works out like that. But that being said, surely he's talked to the prosecutor, and surely he's been assured, they've made certain assurances to him, like they can't prosecute him for any crimes that he didn't commit in Cherokee County. It doesn't mean he can't be prosecuted. It just means they can't be the ones that prosecute them. Neat Noodle, there is no answer for that, babe. I know my tiny little female mind can't grasp it either, but yeah, it makes no sense. Okay.
You won't really know anything while the state's presenting. The circus comes later.
Yeah.
And who knows how many witnesses they got permission to have on Zoom. Like, I don't expect the state side is going to be very elaborate or take that long. It's pretty direct presentation.
Yeah.
And they get to the other side. I mean, if Sandy Torres is in there, anything could be in that tent.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I see. Okay, so now I understand his horrible analogy or metaphor. I think it's a metaphor of the trial in itself is the circus. Not so much about the attention or that there's a lot of press around it or anything like that. It's just the case itself is the circus. Okay. Wow. Well, and that's another thing. I will say this. It seems to me like the friendship door is closed between Z and Jason P's Good For You Spillers. Like they're not having it. They're really big mad. And I honestly think that it's partially because she's telling the truth, and she could have blown the lid wide open on this, on what was going on. Yeah, that's why I think that they're like, no, we don't, no me gusta Sandra Torres. Like, no, we don't want to be her friend.
I mean, given the scope of it, what can Sandy Torres really contribute?
The truth?
I mean, she's going to say, I don't know what she's going to say.
You know what she's going to say, but they are going to.
Like, I'm looking forward to having her there and being able to speak on that matter in front of the court, because it's just going to help unravel, at least on some level, the crimes that were committed against me by Buncombe County by not giving me a trial.
I appreciate your optimism, Jason, but I think your optimism is bordering. I always like somebody that sees the glass is half full, unless they see it half full of pee that they're fixing to drink, because that's gross. And I appreciate your optimism. I do. But I think in this situation, your optimism borders on delusion, because obviously there's, three sides to a story, right? His, Sandra's, and then the proof, not the truth, the proof. And the fact of the matter is, you, out of your own mouth, said that you slammed her to the ground. She's got a black eye. So you admit to actually assaulting her. Okay. Then you have told this story that she was drunkard and cooter brown and belligerent, and how dare she confront y'all. She should have minded her own business, right? You have that whole toot about it. Well, the thing is that there was a bunch of law enforcement and paramedics. Now, if she were drunkard and cooter brown and the smell of alcohol was just emanating off of her body and wafting out of her breath, do you really think that any of those people would have let that woman drive her vehicle to the around the corner urgent care? No, they would not have. So also, here's the deal. Does anybody, let me ask the class, chat, this is the last thing he says, by not giving me a trial and holding me against my will. Is there anybody that's in jail, that's incarcerated, either because they're serving out their sentence or they're awaiting trial, that voluntarily wants to be there? It would be called something else if you weren't being held again. Nobody wants to be in jail. Who other than the show 60 Days In, nobody signs up to go to jail. Okay? Stop it. And you could have gone to trial, but clearly you must have waived your right to a speedy trial. Did you waive your right with a squiggly line so that you could denote that you were under duress? Maybe you shouldn't have waived your right, dummy. Holding me against my will. You're out here like you over at Gitmo. Get out of here. Can't even hang out in a county jail for a minute. Crybaby.
And holding me against my will.
I wonder also, like, how freeform is the witnesses?
Yeah.
What do you mean, how freeform is the witness? This isn't like England. This isn't like Parliament, okay? They don't stand in the witness box and just tell a narrative. No, we have a system. Why don't you watch a trial? You're only not allowed to watch this trial. It doesn't prevent you from watching any trials, just this one. Why don't you see how it goes? Something tells me you're going to find out anyways. Sounds like you got some charges, my guy.
Response. Like, I don't know how freeform that is.
You can't just say whatever you want. You have to answer the question. There you go.
I don't know.
To discuss some of that.
I mean, I'm about to tear these motherfuckers apart, bro. You
Oh.
already know.
I mean, Katie, you always talk about that aspect with Katie.
He's about to tear these motherfuckers apart, bro. When did that happen? I missed that. Did y'all miss that? I mean, did I miss it? I missed that. Hold on a minute, because I want to say
But I mean,
something.
dude,
Hold on, dude. Hold on. Brace yourself. I'm real curious about what's on those redacted portions, because just because the public doesn't have access to them doesn't mean that law enforcement and Chloe's defense doesn't have them. I'm very curious. Oh my God. They're about to give me a microphone, Z. You're going to have your what? Your M&M one shot?
About to give me a microphone, Z. I mean, you know what I'm going to do with it.
You don't have to tell me.
You're going to tell everybody how fun and fantastic it is to drink your pee. Woohoo!
Like, I just don't know how freeform it is, but
Yeah, I know. I mean, I don't either, but I'm going to make it as freeform as I possibly can until the judge cuts me off.
it's just I don't know like how much. It's kind of a weird sequencing because like okay, that's already like well baked into the case to talk about it, but let's say they called me at this point, and then they haven't called Gabriella yet. This is all going to come up later. It's just like this weird element because it's like court about me, but it's not about me. So it's like I'm not on trial, but it's like I am because I'm going to be the exhibit.
I mean, are you scared? What are you scared about? Like, this is, all the things. You're enlightened, right? You're an enlightened being. Jason over here prides himself on intellect. So what do you got to be scared of? Jason's over here like Whitney Houston with a one moment in time. He's excited. What's wrong with you, Z? Why are you scared? Aren't you worried about coming out?
And just like wanting the ability to, there's not a lot of motility for me as a witness who's somehow like a defendant. Like for her to speak and speak after it or no to speak before it about things that I would just like say, where it's like, so how'd that work out for you, Gabriella, when you said very similar things, that you whispered in Kuani's ear?
I mean, what? Jenny Wilson, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate that. Welcome to the ward. Thanks for supporting me in the channel. Thank you very much. Okay.
But I just find, on just like a pretty rapidly unraveling level that Sandra Torres is a non-credible witness.
I found her to be highly credible. You know who I didn't find to be credible? The spokesperson for pee drinkers. That's who I didn't find to be credible.
Like a very high magnitude who has
I feel like
an extreme propensity to lie about everything and anything under the sun.
Man, I just feel like it's a blessing in disguise. I'm hoping to try to turn it into that at least anyway.
Yeah, way to be half full, numbskull.
Like, I'm like, hell yeah. I mean, honestly, Z, I know where you're at, but I'm like, I want everybody to be there. I want my opportunity to speak on every single one of them.
Why didn't you back the milk truck up? All right. Why didn't you speak on it during your case? Why did you agree to a plea? What? I mean, wouldn't that have been the time? Do you honestly think that your little pontification on the stand the other day is going to do anything to help your case? It's not, bro. Because you took a plea deal, dummy.
I forgot Daffy Duck. Hold on.
Yeah, I know. You remember that girl that we met that one time on the beach? We were like, hey, we had talked for like 10 minutes. Yeah, she's going to be there. So like, no, I'm making it. I'm just being facetious. Oh,
This call will be terminated in 2 minutes.
Uh-oh.
This guy who's my cellmate in here, he's going to be there too. Like, he's known me for like a day now. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's just, like if these people like Trethaway reached out to her way back, I mean, like, it's just they might not be like that ridiculous, but also like they seem pretty petty. So
yeah,
Yes. Petty. Petty is the way to describe, I would describe people who look at a person like you who groomed a 16, 17-year-old. Yeah, that's petty. Yeah, we're petty people for that. You're right. Gosh, how could we be so wrong? Oof. I feel awful that you think that people like me are petty. Believe me when I say it will distress me throughout the day. Just kidding. I don't give a rat's fat kneecap.
Who knows how big a test they want to open up, and Jerry just indicated the judges, like, them having to say words like these people are very fed up with this. It's just like, how ridiculous is it? And it might not be. It might just be a couple of levels of ridiculous, but it definitely makes the mind wonder.
Yeah, of course.
It makes my mind wonder why you don't want to be in that courtroom front and center defending your daughter. That's what my mind is wondering about. But again, I'm just have a teeny tiny little girly mind compared to you two mega minds over here.
Of course.
How did it turn out for mega mind in the end?
This call will be terminated in 1 minute.
There's somebody trying to get on the phone, dude. I just wanted to get in here for 15 minutes and call you. I will call you tomorrow.
Tomorrow after you know things.
I love you very much.
Love you too.
Gross.
Mookie, buddy. See you.
Listen, and it's gross because it's them. Okay? It's not, I don't care about two dudes liking each other, loving each other. Love is love, and I don't care about that. But it's gross because it's them too. Ugh. All right, let's go to the second call. It's weird to me that he doesn't even want to defend his own kid. I don't know. Like, I don't know. It feels like I just don't. How do you not want to be there and speak to what you saw, to what happened to your daughter? I would want to be there. I don't think, and I don't usually like to say this because, God, first of all, I don't ever want to find out how I would act in that situation. But I do know some things about myself. And I do know that if somebody hurt my child, I don't care who it was. I would want to be there to stand up and speak on my child's behalf because they could no longer speak. I would. I can't speak to the any of the other stuff that people talk about, like with, like when their child is missing, the big argument or debate. And if law enforcement told you not to search, would you search? I don't know what I would do in that situation. And to be honest with you, I hope to God I never have to find out. So I don't really I'm not judging about that part of it, like the investigation and what, but that's not what this situation is. You know, he knew exactly what happened the moment he busted down that door, the bedroom door. He walked in and saw what had happened. There's not too much more to it. But then the fact that he continued to have contact with Chloe until the jail cut it off. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't Chloe saying, you know what, this guy is bad news bears. He is not good for me. This is completely toxic. I shouldn't, I realize now, not being in his presence 25/8, how ick he really is, and she decided not to speak to him. And it's not like he said, yeah, she's the mother of my child. And there's a lot of conflicting feelings going on in my brain at this time, along with all the space. But I don't really want to have anything to do with her because talking to her reminds me of that same day. She is the person that took my child. And so beyond trying to get some resolution, I don't know. And then, I mean, I do think there's an element of that money. Now, I do think part of the reason that OZ was still talking to Chloe is because he was trying to get his creeper paws on that money that she had transferred to her parents. So I know that that's part of it, but still, ew. All right, here we go. This one's not as long. This is on the 13th. So this is after Jason testifies, which technically he can talk to him now, but he can't because Z is still a witness. Jason can talk. Z shouldn't be talking to anybody.
Thank you. Please remain on the line. Hold for acceptance. This is a direct pay call from
Jason Spillers.
an inmate at the Cherokee County Jail.
Also, I will say, Shelly Beans, that is an interesting thought, except for no, they didn't have children, but they're both pregnant now, currently. And the whole idea behind this movement, as it were, was to populate the world. And I don't know how you're going to populate the world if you don't procreate.
Georgia. Charges for your call have been accepted.
Jason,
Hey, buddy.
I don't want to talk to you, man.
What?
Okay.
What happened?
It's just,
What happened? Are you breaking up with them? What happened? What's going on? Starts out right from the get. I don't want to talk to you, man.
you know, very clear that anything we can say could ruin what's going on. So
Yes, I understand. But
Yeah. It's what happened to the wait a minute. Back the milk truck up. This would have been a better conversation. This would have been a better way to start out the conversation from 2 days prior. Okay. When you were, to me, anyways, it sounded a little like cahooting cahooters. And I'm curious, what exactly are you worried about ruining? Which part of what's going on concerns you, sir?
I
Well,
miss
we
both. I do want to talk to you. I love you. I appreciate you. I do, of course,
Yeah.
I want to talk to you for the rest of my life.
well, I just wanted to say that yes,
I want to talk to you for the rest of my life, bruh.
Say could be a problem for the stability and certainty of the outcome of the case, and that was
No, I understand that.
by Indiana and by Katie, and I want to be honorable. Both sides get to listen to these calls, have listened to these calls, are listening
Yeah, I
to
know.
these calls, perhaps presently. So, yeah, I don't
Yeah, I'm
want
sure they are
to
listening.
do anything
I mean, that's fine.
to compromise or jeopardize status. So,
Well, do you want
Who's that?
to?
I don't want what what? Where was your honor 2 days ago, homie? What happened 2 days ago? I mean, here's bingo. No, now you know damn right well there is no room for logic and rational thinking up in here with our tiny girly brains. Okay. If you didn't want to speak to him, why'd you accept his call, you big dummy? Hold on a minute. Let me see what I have over here for us. Where is it? We need a little palate cleanser.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
I mean, that seems pretty simple. You know what I do when I don't want to talk to somebody? I just don't answer the phone. I don't. I just silence notifications. Super easy.
Did you make it to your destination? Do you want to just chit chat for a
I'm
second?
not really.
Okay, that's fine.
And
Okay.
He doesn't even want to chit chat with you, Jason. You drank all that urine for him. What? Oh no. About to get dumped, bruh. Right before the holidays, too. Who's going to be your New Year's Eve kiss? Oh no. This is terrible.
understand that things are moving a little faster. I might be there sooner. So it's my understanding, could be flawed because I believe it was from Jonathan. I'll ask Katie that after I testify, I believe I can sit in the court afterward. And even if not, that my part will be over, your part's over. At that point, you and I can talk freely. We can talk
that's good.
deeply.
All right.
We can talk freely and deeply. Let me tell you something right meow. All right. Okay. Let me just say this. This is the kind of talking I like to do. You know, I like to keep it like chill, little smack talking, you know, crack some jokes, make people laugh. That's the kind of talking I like to do. If somebody says to me, I would like to be able to speak to you freely and deeply, guess what? Your calls are getting silenced. You're going on the do not answer list. Okay. I don't want to have a heavy conversation. And the talking deeply and freely sounds like a whole donkey barbecue. No, thank you. No, 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 no. Oh, 22 tantrums. Good to see you, babe. Yeah, I did give you some Billy Madison. I love Billy Madison. Back to school. Back to school to prove to dad I'm not a fool. I got my backpack on, my boots tied tight. I hope I don't get into a fight. And then he misses the bus. Poor Billy. Here we go.
As we wish, obnoxiously, sacredly, whatever.
Sacredly?
Moment,
what?
Even after
No. I mean, I already know. She's already told me, bro. So,
oh, she's already told
to
you, bro. She's already told you, bro. So what are you coming for? The sentencing? What's happening here? Because they didn't call you as a witness.
Yeah.
That I'm saying, pardon, how she looked, how it felt. I don't know. Like, I could probably ask you how you felt in there, how she felt, but I don't even want to do that. You know, I mean, like,
Yeah, I don't either.
The main thing is that we're not colluding on strategy.
Oh, you mean like the call between the two of you 2 days ago? Like that? Is that what you mean? Shut your clown ass up.
Or I'm not polishing by hearing, stuff like that.
Totally.
I want to be faithful to that process. So
Faithful
I'd
to
like
the
to ask you
process.
things like,
You want to be faithful to the process? You can't even be faithful to one woman. Shut up.
you got to see her first. She's in the courtroom. You're the first one of any of us she's seeing.
Yeah.
How did that affect her? Stuff like that. But I don't even want to ask you stuff like that. Because your stuff will be used however anybody wants to spin anything. And I don't want to do that,
Well, fantastic. Here's the deal. I'm not going to spin shit, but I am going to use it to clown your ass because I think you guys are gross. And I think the role that you played in what happened to your daughter, while you're not the one that actually took her life, it was Chloe that did it, and Chloe is responsible, and Chloe needs to take accountability for that. I do think that you and your double talk and your mumbo jumbo and your encouraging of drinking pee and your, one man, 11 billion wives theory on life and whatnot. I do think that it contributed to a mental illness that Chloe likely already had before she met you. I think that if Chloe was the fire, you were the gasoline on the fire of mental instability. And I think that because you're scared to resolve your own mental health issues, you foisted that on to Chloe and didn't allow her to get treatment, didn't allow her to get help. And if you wouldn't have been a big wall of controlling asshole, your daughter might still be alive. So yeah, I'm not finna spend nothing, but I'm gonna clown the shit out of you. Sure I am. Here we go.
For
I
sure.
mean, hopefully we'll have the rest of our lives to talk about every increment of anything and everything.
Yeah, probably just like this, because your friend over here, Jason Boo Boo the Foo, he finna be doing some time. So yeah, it'll be always like this.
Yeah.
So I don't know that there's anything that I need to hear from you now, except that you were there, you testified today, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I did. You could probably watch it on TV,
No, he
on
can't.
court TV.
No, I can't. I can't watch court TV because I was informed clearly also by Katie that I can't do that.
Oh,
I've also
shit. You can't. Oh, I got it. Well,
Yeah, yeah. Oh shit is right. You weren't supposed to be talking to him 2 days ago, and he wasn't supposed to be talking to you 2 days ago, and he wasn't supposed to be talking to Jerry either. But here we are. This is ridiculous. All of a sudden, homeboy, you grew a conscience. Get out of here.
then you'll see it
Yeah, I'm
sometime, man.
perplexed. I mean,
I got you.
the having the footage on record is pretty cool.
Is
You
it?
know, to review parts of it. I don't
Is it pretty cool? Really? You're disgusting.
even know or, hear testimony from, the sad testimony from medical people who were with at the end where I didn't get to be because the police kept me in that room at Jerry.
What the fuck were you going to do? Seriously. What could you have done? Your time to assist Hannah was when her mom started showing signs of mental illness. That's when you could have helped Hannah.
house
Shit.
because I wasn't a suspect. I never understood why I couldn't go with Hannah and just be with her in the last moment.
Yeah.
I still don't understand that.
I don't know. Maybe because you guys all look like you just rolled around in a bunch of mud and haven't seen the inside of a shower or soap and water in a month of Sundays, and she had all those open wounds. Maybe that's why. Maybe because they wanted to keep her in a sterile environment, and you look like Pigpen, bruh. Maybe that's why. You look like Pigpen with the side of the guy from My Cousin Vinny, who had the flies swarming around him. I can't remember what his name is, but he carried the water in the bottle. Yeah. That's what you look like. Maybe that's why you weren't allowed to go.
Or just that being not even procedure.
Also, why would you want to go? Remember, you don't believe in Western medicine. So why would you want to go?
Protocol, just whatever dude and dudettes on the scene decided, like, oh, we're just going to have you there. It's confusing to me. My heart wishes I could have been there, of course, obviously.
It's confusing to you in your enlightened mind. Maybe you're not drinking enough urine. Maybe that's the problem.
For the transit of her soul, for her being, for her body, for her humanness, just to have been there.
Sure.
That being said, no, I'm not. I would like to see that in the future if it's still available on there, to hear from some of the people who were with her at the last, the medical professionals, etc. Now,
That's what you want to hear about. That's what and your big, gigantic mega mind, man brain doesn't understand that things that are on the internet are on the internet forever. You don't know how the internet works. Shut up.
But yeah, as of now, no, I'm not. I can't watch that. I'm sequestered. I mean,
I understand. I got it.
And as much as me talking to you, then you'd be telling me about your testimony. I'd be viewing your that's out of the pale. So
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
want to mess up. I don't want to tamper with any part
Out of the pale. You mean beyond the pale? Out of the pale. What are you at the beach? You got your pail and your shovel?
of the process, So as I said to Katie about our communications prior,
Uh-oh.
she said, no, really, it's not.
He's done asked not only has he asked a question, he done asked a woman a question. He had to get permission from a chick. Oh no. They're gonna kick you out of the He-Man Woman Haters Club, bruh, for that.
Not a big deal, whatever you guys were saying on the phones here in Osceola prior, because, he wasn't in the courtroom yet. But once he's in the courtroom, don't talk to him about it. Don't talk to him about don't talk to him, about that. Not
Yeah.
don't talk, but don't talk about that. And not talking, he's going to talk about that because it's on your mind. So That being
Yeah.
said,
So basically, she said, you tell Jason, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me, criminal. How many times does Jason, how many times are you going to tell this guy that you love him on this phone call alone and not hear it back before you realize he's just not that into you? I mean, take a hint. Have some, get some self-respect, bruh. Don't beg. I mean, aside from the fact that you have urine breath, desperation is an awful scent on anyone. Seriously. No. Just stop.
I would like to say I love you, and I'm
Oh!
sure I'm proud of you and appreciate what you did today without even being there.
My bad. Z is saying, maybe I'm wrong. Z is into him. And he's given him the "you did your best" speech. Oh, this is what we call a compliment sandwich. Haircut now maybe he's going to give him some negative criticism. Let's see.
And I know you did your best, even if what you might call media spin was there, in general, optics, however it be. I'm sure you did good as you know how to do. And it'll be
I'm sure you did good as you know how to do. Oh, he's not impressed with your intellect, Jason. Oh no, I know. It's so sad. Here we
see
go.
what it'll be. And
Yeah,
it'll
now he's just quoting que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. What, did you just watch Heather's before you took the phone call?
Mr. Laporta would say, you do your best and surrender the rest in faith. Yeah, you show up, put it on record, and that's it, and I know you did
It's
that.
on record.
So, I don't really
Oh, it's on record. You bet your bottom dollar, buddy.
want to talk about it. I love you.
All right, bud.
Do you know when you get transported back to Osceola?
I would think that it would be soon. I'm ready to get back. I'm ready to get back to my federal treatment. This place is a shithole. I'm ready for my quality food and my yard time and my getting out of my cell and going outside and they lock us down here, so it's like where our dorm is, or our doors are open, like pretty much. Sometimes on the weekends they don't even lock us down. They don't even shut the doors on the weekends.
Wow. Huh. I'm sure the taxpayers would be quite interested to learn that you are having the best time of your life in federal jail. Huh. Or your federal treatment, as you call it. Interesting.
So it's
well, I just want to say that it wouldn't bother me at all. I'm getting my psychology where it needs to be, building up my energy, getting ready to do this. I wouldn't mind, if we didn't talk till next Wednesday or Thursday in Osceola. So.
Oh my God. Don't call me. I'll call you. Bruh. It wouldn't bother me at all if I couldn't talk to you for weeks at a time. I'll tell you what, Jason, how about this? Don't call me and let's see if I miss you. But I won't.
Okay, sounds good.
But, I'd also encourage you, as soon as you get back to Osceola, to give me a call, or if anything drastic comes up while you're still in Cherokee County, or if they leave you there. I'm not telling you not to call me. Just call me and let me decide
I will.
I'm in a headspace let me decide if I'm in a headspace where it's not going to disrupt me getting laser dialed in on this. Okay?
I got you.
Laser dialed in on this. Do you need to be laser dialed in to tell the truth? Is there prep time that's required for telling the truth? I'm just, wow. Wowie, wow.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
I wish you swift release and processing from everything you're going through.
I appreciate it.
Nikki.
Okay. See ya.
Wow. I miss you, bud. No, I can't imagine being his cellmate. Man, I can't even imagine standing next to him at Publix in line for the checkout. No. Honestly, he kind of reminds me of the dude that used to hang out in front of the Circle K around the corner from my house in Pinellas Park, you know, which is not saying anything because if anybody's ever been to Florida, to Circle K, Florida, you know what I'm saying. You know how it be at the Circle K. It all goes down at the Circle K. Wow, 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 wow. Let me see if there's any more. Hold on. Let me go look at that channel. That was quite interesting. Let me see if there's some more. Let's see. Wow. This is a really super organized channel. I appreciate that. I need to do something with mine. Mine's out of control. Mine looks like a toddler who was left unsupervised. Crayon on the wall, blocks everywhere. Yeah, mine's a mess. I need to do better about that. Oh, no, God, no, they don't care about, neither one of them care about themselves, if you really think about it. All right, so now we are going to watch a little bit of the state's expert witness who evaluated Chloe. I have closed captions turned on. Yes. And I haven't heard any of this yet, so I'm kind of anxious to hear it with you guys. So what I was thinking when we were talking about, I can't be on, I have to get off of here at 7 because I think Allie has a live. Let me just check. Hold on. Let's see if Allie has anything going on. Let me see. I don't see anything. Oh, but she did share mine, and I appreciate that. But I want to make sure that I give her enough time, and I told her that I would only go until 7, so she might just, be waiting or whatever. So we'll stream as much of this as we can. I'll speed it up just a little tiny bit, and then we can. That's what we'll just do that this week. We'll just continue to catch up on this trial because I can't imagine there's going to be any new trials that are streaming, but it is possible. So if there is, we'll definitely check that. We'll definitely stream a trial because that's what I really like to do. I like to talk. I like to stream a trial and talk. And talk. I grew up with Circle K's. We don't have Circle K's in Texas, but we did have Circle K's in Arizona. When I used to go home and see my mom and dad in Arizona, nothing had changed. I will say this: the Circle K's in Tucson, Arizona, and the Circle K's in the Floridas. I don't know about the East Coast. I only know about the Gulf Coast, but they're pretty much the same. Just the same. All right, so let's hear what this next witness has to say, and I'm going to go have a smoke. Okay, here we go.
State call Dr. Asad Chowdhury.
Hey, Deadeye Danny, good to see you. Crystal D, hey, good to see you. Good to see you, Sally. It's good to see all you guys. Thanks for being here.
Can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay. Can you state your name and spell it?
Yeah, Asif Chaudhary, ASIF, last name CHOUDHARY.
Okay. And how are you employed?
Excuse me.
How are you employed?
I'm a psychiatrist. I'm in private practice
All right. And prior to being in private practice, how were you employed?
with Wellstar.
All right. And when you were employed with Wellstar, what was your role with Wellstar?
So I was a consult liaison psychiatrist for
And
Kennestone.
for Kennestone Hospital?
Yep.
Can you tell the jury a little bit about your educational background and training that brought you to the field of psychiatry?
Yeah, so I did my medical school training at St. Matthew's University, and then graduated from there and did my residency at the University of Missouri and did my child and adolescent fellowship at the University of Missouri, and then moved back down to Georgia and started with Wellstar.
Okay. And was Wellstar your first psychiatry position after finishing your education?
Yes,
And for what period of time were you a psychiatrist with Wellstar?
for about 5 years.
And what years were those?
Those would be after about 2018, and then up until I would say about 2 years ago.
Okay. And in your professional capacity as a psychiatrist with Wellstar, what were your duties and responsibilities?
So my duties and responsibilities were whenever we get a consult, we would answer the question by the consulting team there, and if it was related to medication management, delirium, or any other mental illness, we answer the question and then treat the patient accordingly.
Okay. And in terms of your professional capacity as a psychiatrist, what can you tell the jury just generally about what is the field of psychiatry in terms of your expertise?
Yeah, so we deal with mental illness, so common syndromes like depression, anxiety, PTSD, ADHD. In the hospital setting, it's a little different because it can be complicated patients. And so inpatient, outpatient settings are a little bit different there, but common mental illnesses that we'll be treating.
Okay. Your Honor, this time I tender Dr. Chowdhury as an expert in psychiatry. No objection. I want to talk to you a little bit about what your role in this particular case was.
Let me just say, because I like to give the people what they want, the people being Neat, who's always here for me. She always mods for me. She always drops the link. She greets everybody. She's fantastic. But I want to give her what she wants. So I hauled my cookies all the way from the backyard to the office to skip this part, and it was quick. All right, here we go.
How were you employed in December of 2020?
So as a consult liaison psychiatrist with Wellstar.
Okay. And does that have anything to do with issues of like legal competence or legal insanity or legal determinations about somebody's mental state?
So we don't make that determination. In our setting is whatever question is asked by the primary team, we go in and answer that question for them. So we don't make the determination of competency. That's more of a legal.
Okay. There. And back in 2020, were you employed more as like a clinician and a medical provider?
Yes.
Okay. And so when you say that you were involved in consult psychiatry with Wellstar, how would it come about that you would be called upon to evaluate a patient?
So common things that, for example, the hospitalist team, somebody comes in with suicide attempts or depression or anything like that, where if it's a mental illness, they would consult us to get further assistance in treating the patient or helping with disposition or anything like that. So those are common things.
And back in December of 2020, were there other consult psychiatrists with Wellstar that kind of performed the same function as you?
Yes, I had a partner, Dr. Stefan Rout. So we have a 7 on, 7 off shift. So he would be my counterpart for the other days.
7 days on, 7 days off?
Yes.
All right. So was it just you and Dr. Rout rotating 7 days on, 7 days off?
Yes, and we'd have like nurse practitioners that would be under our supervision as well.
Okay. They cannot hear. Can you adjust your microphone a little bit closer to you?
Is that better?
Okay. Thank you. All right. Dr. Chowdhury. Your Honor, at this time I'm going to tender states 117, 118, and 119, which is the the business record certification, as well as the complete medical record of Chloe Alexis Driver from Kennestone Hospital.
Any objection?
No, thank you. All right. Thank you. Dr. Chowdhury, did you have an opportunity to review the records in this case?
Yes.
All right. And I've tendered states 117 through 119, which is 1,200 pages of medical records. But I also have sort of excerpts from those medical records to just kind of help us conveniently navigate through the volume. In the voluminous records, do you do like consult psychiatry notes and put documentation of what your evaluation was of Ms. Driver into her more thorough medical record?
Yeah, we input it into the EHR, and so anybody can review those, anybody on the team as well, anybody who's allowed to.
All right. And
Yeah, thank you for clarifying that, doctor, because not anybody is allowed, not anybody can access that. Also, I think that his testimony is going to be important because he evaluated her at closer to the time of what had happened, closer to time in the event, where I don't know that she could have had a lot of time to like plan what she was going to say. You know, when she was evaluated by these other psychologists, she had a defense in mind. So I feel like what she might have told them would have been tailored to fitting a specific narrative. And I'm just curious. Let's see what he has to say.
I'm going to, Your Honor, I think just the easy thing to do would be to just tender all of these states 120 through 127, which are just excerpts from the complete record that has already been admitted by business record certification.
Any objection?
Yes, I will reference them as we go. All right, so states
All
tendering
right.
120 through 127.
Are admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. All right, Dr. Childry. I first want to Is your screen on? Can you see what I'm doing on that screen?
No, it's blank.
Not on. Your Honor, is there a way to turn the screen on? It has text on the bottom. It says trying to find the transmitter.
I'm not sure I can help with that.
Okay.
Technical
All right,
difficulties.
well, we'll do it the old-fashioned way. I will just hand you the physical exhibit. Okay. We'll put it on the screen for the jury. States 120. Doctor, I'm going to hand you a physical copy so you can see what is up on the screen.
Sure, thank you.
Fantastic.
What is States 120?
Excuse me.
What is depicted in this exhibit?
So this is my initial consult note.
All right. And it says there, here at the top, we have Chloe Alexis Driver, Kenneth Stone, and the dates of her hospitalization admit date. But when we scroll down, it says patient name Norland.
Mhm.
And when you go into history, present illness, it says 100 years old. Why is that designation in there?
So that's more of a
Constance,
hospital
okay,
system
good to see
kind of
you.
policy there, where if they have a trauma patient, they'll put a random name and a birthday or the age if they don't know for multiple reasons.
All right. So when you have a patient that has experienced some type of trauma, they just put a random name and age designation rather than their actual identity?
Yeah, and they change that usually a few days in, which
Okay.
they'll update it.
All right. And on this particular States 120, it indicates that she was admitted on December the 8th and that your consultation date in this record was December the 9th. Was this the first time that you had attempted to evaluate her?
Yes.
Okay. And what did you do after being called upon on the 9th to attempt to evaluate Ms. Driver?
So upon any consult, we end up going to go see the patient and then obtain like collateral information and then information from the primary team, whatever the information that they have.
Okay. It indicates in States 120 that the patient's chart was reviewed, but patient is currently sedated, and that patient was unable to be interviewed at this time. On this date, the 9th, was all of the information that you obtained from her record and from other medical staff?
Yes.
Okay. Is part of your system in reviewing the chart for psychiatric purposes to review toxicology results?
Yes.
Okay, and if you flip to, I think the 4th page in States Exhibit 120, what can you tell the jury about her tox and lab results from December the 8th when she was admitted?
Nothing was detected there.
Okay, and what are you testing for in those tox
Oh.
results? Is that a pretty broad spectrum of?
Yeah, usually when they come in from the trauma standpoint, this is done by the primary team. So to rule out if there are any other substances on board or anything that needs to be addressed. So those are typically done, and different tox screens are ran usually, but it just depends on what the ordering provider is actually running at that time.
Okay, and so this panel we see is everything from cocaine, opiates, THC, and nothing was detected in her system. Is that right?
That's correct.
Why is that relevant to you in doing your psychiatric assessment?
Because substances there can cloud our judgment and can play a role in our mental health there, and can also lead on to other symptoms of like hallucinations, psychosis, and delusions. And the other factor is if they are positive for certain things, we want to make sure that they don't go through withdrawals or life-threatening withdrawals. So our management can also change based off of that.
Yes, there's a medical detox for certain illicit substances and prescription substances. So, but I'm curious. I'm going to look this up while we play this because she said she was taking CBD, and listen, I know that CBD does not have THC in it, okay? But that CBD came from Jason. It was old, and it was from his van, and this was like the lady that he got it from made too much, and so she had overage. The whole thing sounds shady to me, so it's just at the end of the day, bottom line is it doesn't seem like anything other than CBD was actually in there. So I guess that's good.
Okay. All right.
Not for Chloe,
I want
but
to next go to
for the state.
State's Exhibit 121 and 122. I will give you a. Yes, I'm sorry.
Also, I've done the live days of court, and then we've gone back and done, the recap of the testimony and everything. And there's a face that she has. And what, Nat? Well, hang on just 1 second. I'm quite interested in hearing your story, so I'm going to put my email in the chat. And if you'd like to, you don't have to do it immediately. You don't have to do it at all. And whether you do or you don't, you are welcome in the chat, just so you know. But I am I am very interested in hearing your story. And, so if you feel comfortable, then, email me. No worries either way, though. I just noticed that I know that her defense is trying to paint her in this vulnerable, which just by her age alone, she's vulnerable, okay, at 16, 17, 18 with a much, much older man, okay, period. That's it. But she looks so angry all the time. And it doesn't matter who's testifying. She looks angry. And I'm kind of wondering about that and curious about that, because when you listen back to the phone conversations that we just listened to with Z and with Jason, it just seems like there's something else going on between them and Chloe. Like, she's only not speaking to them because of her trial. Like once sentencing is done and she starts her appeals, I'm sure she will appeal. I'm wondering, will the communication start up again?
States 121 starts on page 51 of the medical record. All right. Dr. Chowdhury, what was the date of your next evaluation of Ms. Driver?
So based off of this, 12/10.
Okay. So this was 2 days after she was admitted?
Yes.
All right. And you put in there chief complaint. How do you designate a chief complaint, and why is that in quotes?
So typically the chief complaint we get is the patient's own words on why they're here, or if they requested to see us, what are the reasons why. And so the quotes are what the patient has said.
Okay. And this says, quote, "I wasn't supposed to make it." Would that be something that came directly from his driver?
Yes.
And on this date, the 10th, were you following up from your inability to evaluate her on the 9th, or did she request to see psychiatry?
No, we typically continue on, but yeah, this would be a continuation of the initial consult. Yeah.
Okay, from her medical team.
Yes.
Is that standard for anybody that had a suicide attempt?
Yes.
Nat, oh, that's great. Thank you for that. And again, thank you for being here. I'm sorry that you went through that. That's awful. Awful, awful.
And then when we look further in the chart, it says the patient was interviewed and chart was reviewed. Patient unable to speak, but is able to mouth answers. Communicated with patient via clipboard at bedside. What can you tell the jury about what her condition was in terms of her ability to communicate?
So she was not able to actually verbally communicate during the interview there, but she was writing and mouthing her answers.
Okay. And in this, on the second line of the subjective area, you wrote the patient was linear and was able to provide details on the events that took place prior to being hospitalized. What does it mean when you state the patient was linear?
So it's that her thought process was more focused and kind of orderly there. So that's important if, collecting the history.
Okay. And what was
It's quite an interesting case, Mystery. It's she's already been the trial itself is over, and now we're waiting for the sentencing, which is December 12th, because but I wanted to go back because I've been watching it, but I hadn't followed it as closely. Like I would be working on stuff while listening to it, and you know how that can be. So you're kind of distracted. You don't have your whole focus on it. But I wanted to go back and I wanted to listen to the testimony because I wanted to see if the jury got it right. Specifically, the testimony surrounding the mental health professionals that evaluated her and spoke to her. Because I want to see if the jury got it right. And I want to see if, if yeah. So do I, Irene. Irene says, I have many conflicting emotions about this case and the verdict. So do I. So do I.
Was sort of your strategy or purpose in assessing her at this stage? What was it that you were trying to determine?
So the safety and addressing any mood component as well. So in the individual, we look at disposition as well after a suicide attempt, if they need to go inpatient or where they would be going next. And so we look at all areas and looking at medication management if it's indicated as well.
Okay. This summary where it starts with she reports being in a relationship with a male individual for 4 years. Is this summary, are these your words summarizing what information she gave you, or are these her words?
So these were basically a summary of her words. So kind of incorporating it all into some, a format that could be understood and kind of makes sense there.
Okay. And in the initial paragraph, it says patient via clipboard at bedside. Was she able to?
Hang on a minute. She's 24 in 2024, which would have made her 20 in 2020. But she said she'd been in a relationship with this man for 4 years. Now, I'm not a mathematical genius or anything like that, but correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't 20 minus 4 equal 16? Interesting.
To sort of coherently and logically respond to your questions in writing?
Yes.
Okay. And did you collect those writings and make them a part of her official medical record?
Nursing did, I believe.
Nursing did.
Yeah.
Okay. And is that what is depicted in State's Exhibit 122?
Yes, I believe so.
Her handwritten responses?
Yes.
Okay. And I want to go through the things that she wrote. You told us that you kind of summarized the things that she wrote here. What, from your summary, did she tell you was the motivation for her killing her daughter?
It was to get out of the relationship that she felt the only way out was taking her life or taking the baby's life and her life.
Okay. All right. I want to go to her responses in State's Exhibit 22. Mr. Hathaway, this is page 1262 in the record. All right. So when you were communicating with her, were you verbally asking her a question and then she was writing the answer?
Yes.
Okay. So when we look at State's Exhibit 122, it is multiple pages of writing. Did you document anywhere what question you had asked that prompted these answers?
Typically, it's all kind of within the narrative of the subjective. So we don't usually put like this question and then the answer tied to it there, but it's usually all kind of asked together.
Okay. So for example, if we look here at page 1264, there's a writing that says, do you know if I'm going straight to prison or leaving here first? Can you tell from your record?
That's quite interesting that she was she was really worried about that. So Neat Noodle says, wait, is Z in jail now? I thought it was just Jason. I'm curious about that too. Nat says, I'm pretty sure he went yesterday. Do you know what he went for, Nat? Because there are, in the very first phone call that we listened to, which was from 11/11/2024, between he and Jason, there was conversation about Z having a warrant. And they talked about bail and that kind of thing. So I'm curious. They don't, of course, didn't speak specifically. And then I have this. But this is from, let me almost ended the stream. This is from 2022, and I can't believe this is like a super itty. This is a ticket that he probably just didn't, pay. Out of county warrant, no motor vehicle registration. I mean, this is not even that big of a deal. So, like, this can't be what he would be worried about. This can't be what he would need bail. And Hillsborough County is Tampa, so like that can't be it. So I'm kind of curious. Like, what is his, what's he in trouble for? Or, what's he been accused of? Oh, I might have to look into that too, Neat. All right, here we go. Oh, what do you know here? Wonder what this is about.
Whether that would have been in response to a question or if that was a spontaneous statement.
So could you repeat the question there?
Sure. There's a lot of writing on these pages that doesn't all connect. It's not a complete narrative.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to establish for the jury and help them understand is, were these writings in response to a question that you asked, or was she just wanting to tell you things?
I believe this was a question that she asked.
This was a question that she asked.
Yeah.
Would you ever introduce the concept of prison or incarceration to a patient that you were evaluating?
No.
Okay. And why not?
Because, well, there's no therapeutic benefit of, saying that, hey, are you going to a prison or do you know if you're going to jail? It's more of us deciding what the safest place for the patient to be. And if, say, for example, jail or anything like this wasn't in question, we'd be looking at the inpatient hospitalization if a patient is acutely in danger to themselves or others there. So we don't ever introduce, if they're discussing jail or things like that, there's no therapeutic benefit there.
Okay, so this would have been something that she was concerned about at that moment that she just asked of you.
Yeah, and it's quite common for a patient to ask, or where am I going next, or when am I getting out of here in the hospital settings.
Okay, all right.
Hey, Brandy, good to see you.
There's a statement here that says, what do you mean prescribed?
Yes, hold on a second.
In response to something that you asked her?
Lisa says, in the call, he said an issue with Kyle, and I can't, for whatever reason, and I was thinking about this when he was on the call, but I was also busy commentating. And so it's like but I can't remember who Kyle is. I'm gonna have to, I wrote it down so I can look it up, but I'm just kind of curious. He's quite concerned, whatever it is, that's his main. It's interesting because he's talking to Jason and in that first phone call, and he brings the situation about coming to court and, having a warrant and the bail and Kyle and all the things, right? Similar to Chloe, whose first question was, am I going to go to jail or prison? So it's interesting to me that they're both worried about that.
Yeah, so typically we ask like past psychiatric history, if we've been on prescribed medications, or if we take any other like substances as well too.
Okay. Do you know what the statement 8th grade for fun once was in response to?
That may be more so like substance use.
Okay. And then she wrote, we both disagree with pharmaceuticals. Do you know what that was in response to?
Her husband and her, their thought process behind like using medications.
Okay. And did you discuss with her extensively the prospect of putting her on medication?
Yes.
And at this time on December the 10th, did she express?
Hold on a minute. Yes, Nat. Yeah, babe, look here. I'll show you again. I'm so sorry you're finding out this way, but yeah. He's 42 years old. What did I booking date? I thought he was an Aquarius. I don't see his birth date on here. Hold on. Let me see if I had this, if I can see it. Yeah, he was 42 in 2022. It's 2024 now. So that's 44, probably. He's probably almost 45. Yeah, crazy. Now he would have been born in 79 or 80. I think I have the rest of the screenshot. I might have intentionally cropped his birth date out. Let me go look.
To you about whether she wanted medication.
She did not want medication.
Okay. And did she ever state to you why?
That it wasn't in their belief system.
Okay. And let me go back. This note that just says, my daughter is dead. Do you know what that is in response to?
Not specifically, no.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, no, I don't have his whole birth date. I'm sure I can find it.
Statement at the top that says, I think Grace changed them already. Do you know what that was in response to?
I don't know.
Okay. Was there any medical provider named Grace, or was this in response to any type of medical need?
I don't believe so, but I don't know.
Okay. And then she wrote, I hurt myself and my baby. Would that have been in response to an inquiry?
Yes. Sometimes we ask, like, do you know what brought you into the hospital? So that may be in relation to that.
Okay. And then she wrote, I was stating for months I couldn't handle my husband's lifestyle anymore.
Lisa says that he was would have been born in 82. Oh, yes. If you guys find anything here, let me put my email in the chat. Oh, I can't even write a parent type today. Okay, 7. Yeah, that's I was right. I don't know why. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But if you guys, there's my email. If you have anything that you think I need to see, just email me. I check my email really regularly. Obviously, it's more difficult for me to check it while I'm on stream, but I do check it and I will get back to you. I promise. Because I want to know what he is in trouble for, because he's very apprehensive about coming.
What would that have been in response to?
That what led up to our hospitalization.
And is that, when you were questioning her, is that
Hold on. Back the milk truck up. I never knew his birthday. He always told me he had 2 birthdays, that he's a Cancer and a Scorpio. So he's both the crab and the scorpion. That's yeah, but he is 42 in 2022. So if you're 44 born in 80, wait a minute. This is going to drive me nuts. All right. So his booking date was the end of January of 2022. And at that point, he was 42 years old. So 2 years ago, he was 42, making him currently 44. So I'm just bust. That's it. I'm getting that calculator. That's it. I'm not even going to mess with it. Now it's going to bug me and I need to see it. So hold on. Let me get over here to the calculator. Yeah, 1980. He was born in 1980. All right.
When you say what led up to her hospitalization,
We got
are you
it.
specific about what led to the suicide attempt or what led to
Yeah,
her
he's
being physically
44
present in the
now.
hospital? Would this be a statement as to her motivation for the act?
So the goal is to kind of assess the timeline of what has been going on, what kind of led to our present moment of being assessed at that time. So why are they in the hospital there? So a lot of times patients will kind of give a timeline of, I've been feeling depressed for some time, or these symptoms have been going on for some time, and now I'm here, secondary to numerous different things.
Okay.
Just so you guys know, I love that we problem solve right here in the chat. And nobody's like, we're not mean to each other about it. We just go along and we try to help each other out. Hey, Cajun Mama. Yeah, I'm proud of us. I'm proud of us out here problem solving like a whole team.
Sorry, I was trying to zoom in for the jurors so they can see better. This portion that says, well, maybe I shouldn't press my luck. He collects people to live with us, and after we got 3 more people, I started perceiving them ganging up on me and leaving me out, changing stories. Would this have been in response to a question or about her mental state? Do you have any recollection of sort of how all these pieces of information fit together in response to what question?
I do not recall.
Okay.
What the question would be.
All right. There's multiple pages of writings here. I want to talk to you about this portion at the bottom where she wrote, for the first 2 years, not so much because it was just us traveling. But once he got people listening to him more, I started feeling scared and was begging for attention for us to be with baby. Do you know what that was in response to?
It was likely asking if you felt safe in the relationship.
Okay. And
or if there was any safety concerns.
Okay. And so she indicated that that things had changed because there were more people in the group now. Mm-hmm. And she had been begging for attention for her and him to be with the baby.
Yes.
Okay. And then over here on the side, do you know what this note was in response to that says, eventually within the last 2+ months, I started taking CBD and I was becoming paranoid?
So I'm not sure what that was specifically.
All right. I kind of want to let me take this away and make this full screen. Let me see if I can read what this says. And I'd beg them to at least, but they wouldn't. They always, for the first 2 years, not so much because it was just us traveling. Once he got people listening to him more, I started feeling scared, begging for attention for us to be. So see, this is interesting to me because I'm not saying that she doesn't have mental illness. Okay. I think we all kind of agree that she does. have, mental illness. I don't think that's up for debate. But at the core here, which is what the jury was trying to answer, is what was her motivation and her mental status at the time that she committed this crime. And to me, the statements that she made at closer to the event in time, in my opinion, would be the more accurate. Because like I said earlier, after she's discharged, she's in jail, she learns that she's charged, she's got a defense team, and they're talking defense strategy, and there are phone conversations where she's talking about with her mom and her dad being evaluated. And so in those instances, she has a motivation to be less than honest. She has a motivation to lie. She has a motivation to exaggerate. I think that this is why the state charged her the way that they did. Because I think it's closer to the truth that this was an absolute cry for attention.
In response
and
to,
and in a way, a
statement.
punishment, because she'd been lashing out or screaming out for attention, wasn't getting it. Okay, so I think that her goal was to take Hannah and herself away, and that would show him. Do you know what I mean? That's what it feels like, and that seems deliberate and less. I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm not sure that I guess I'm going to have to wait and see what they say at sentencing, really, because I do agree that she's completely guilty and that not guilty by reason of insanity. I don't think she meets the criteria for that, and neither did the jury. But I'm really interested to see when sentencing comes around exactly what that looks like. Not guilty, but guilty but mentally ill.
That she was making in regards to asking about substance use.
Okay. Anything about her mental state when you were asking these questions and she was responding? I know you put in your record that her thought process was linear, but did you document anything in there about whether you had concerns that she was actively delusional or experiencing any type of hallucinations or delusions at the moment that you were evaluating her?
Not at that moment that anything kind of stood out to me.
Okay. Did she seem coherent, capable of understanding your inquiries, capable of giving logical responses?
Yes.
Okay. Did she describe to you, and I think you kind of summarized it in States 120, did she describe to you sort of the back and forth of her wanting to?
Let's see. Never allowed me to get a license, no job. Only once when we were homeless. Sometimes, but half our relationship was unknown because I was 17 and had the baby few months after 18. No, except for recently when he'd hit me or threaten me. He'd keep her right there even when I begged to just remove her by somebody around. But they wouldn't listen, and would watch or walk away. What do you mean prescribe? 8th grade for fun once. We both disagree with pharmaceuticals. No, he was against drugs. Only sometimes considered. Okay.
To leave the group and coming back to the group?
She did talk about her inability to leave or the hold that the other individual had on her.
The hold that he had on her?
Yeah, in a meaning of where she couldn't leave the situation.
Okay. And I think that you put in your summary of her motivation for the
Kimberly.
act of harming herself and her daughter is that she felt like that was her only way out.
That is correct.
Okay. And this portion at the top where she said there was no escape for us, was that consistent with sort of your overarching summary that that was her only way out?
Yes.
Okay.
Huh.
All right. And then this portion where she said, basically he's supposed to marry 1,000 plus wives, take over the world, and there's only 169,000 living souls. What was this in response to?
So this may be in response to asking more about kind of the environment that she was in and their belief systems.
Okay.
Okay, now, far be it from me to be critical of somebody else's math, but 169,000 souls on this on the planet Earth just seems like a hell of an underbid. That doesn't even seem like anywhere near the correct number. Nat says, I wonder if his other wives will speak. You know, honestly, probably not. I don't know. We'll have to see. I feel like, and I'm curious about what exactly they would speak to, because it has been established really that Chloe wasn't a fan of the other women and that she was sort of mean to the other women. So if you believe that, then I mean, I'm not, when people are mean to me, that I'm not necessarily a fan of theirs. I don't, it's not fun for me when somebody's being mean to me. So I don't know what they would actually speak to. I'll have to wait and see. I would imagine that if Z doesn't speak, that they will not either. Because I would imagine he would be like, no, you can't. If I'm not going, no, you can't. I'm not gonna, and you can't either.
So this portion here,
It's
if
a
we go
made
down
up
a little bit further,
122
it says,
tantrums.
turned me into really mean and cold for the righteousness of the Holy Spirit. Then it was just us. But then once he got people, he flipped almost all the info he fed me in the beginning. Do you know what this was in response to?
So it would be more so of what their belief system was and what she was being, either told or told to believe.
Okay. And did she express that things changed for her when more people joined the group?
Yes.
Okay. This portion right here, this paragraph that starts with, I was not supposed to live. Do you recall if this was in response to a question?
Yes, it may be a response to, are you happy to be alive?
Okay. And she indicated I was not supposed to live. I wanted to be with her because I do believe I'm too crazy at this point to go on, especially after killing my own daughter. What is this portion that says, I'm pretty sure I was, though, when I asked sometimes they'd confirm lights flickering? What does that mean? Do you have any recollection?
So it may be related to having any sort of hallucinations.
Okay. And when she wrote, they'd confirm that lights were flickering, do you have any idea what that meant?
So, or it may be more so of like she was seeing things and confirmation by others in the home that yes, that is actually happening.
Okay.
So then if she was seeing things, right, but the other people were confirming that it was happening, then obviously she wasn't hallucinating. I'm not, this is just so, hold on, what does this say? He had me take out $150,000 loan in my name because we're running out, but nobody else in my group. He promised IRS wouldn't come after me. Oh, I don't think he can make that promise, ma'am.
And this says, I have several times. My big attempt was just a week ago. Was this her describing sort of her thoughts surrounding her her inability to leave the group?
Yes, I believe so. Or it could also be in relation to if we've had previous suicide attempts. That is a question we typically ask as well.
Okay, so you don't know if this was in reference to an attempt to leave or a prior suicide attempt?
Yes.
All right.
But based off of that, it does look like about trying to leave the situation.
Okay. And then she wrote something here about taking out a $150,000 loan in her name.
Mhm.
Do you know if that was in response to a question?
Hey, Bogart.
It may be more so related to why did we stay back, or were there other reasons that we had to stay?
Okay. All right. What was your kind of assessment of her mental state at this time? This was on the 10th of December, 2 days after she was admitted. I know you've already testified that she said pharmaceuticals were against her belief system and that her motivation for murdering Hannah was because she felt like that was their only way out. What was, from a psychiatric perspective, sort of anything you documented about concerns for her at that point?
Yeah, our concerns were that she was not safe for discharge. So meaning that if an individual had a suicide attempt, that we would not just clearly let them just go home after the hospitalization.
Okay. But did you document any type of active delusions, hallucinations, anything like that at that time?
Not at that time.
Okay.
See, now this is what's interesting to me, okay? Because I think the first thing that they would do when they got her, Ash, can you do me a favor? I have been looking for that that YouTube. Can you email me with the link, pretty please, and we'll watch that before we end for tonight. And then before I forget, I will put the email in the Nightbot. I honestly could have sworn that I did that. Hold on a minute. Let me just look really quick. Hold on. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, okay. So I would think when they brought her to the hospital, that their first order of business would be obviously to stabilize her. Hold on. Let me just type this out really quick. Okay. Let me fix this really quick. All right. So I just made I made a new command. And hold on a minute. Why is it not letting me? Hold on. Okay. So if you guys ever need my email, all you have to do is type exclamation point, lowercase email. And I'll it'll bring up my email for you guys. So what I think they would do initially when they brought Chloe into the emergency room, right, is they would address her injuries and stabilize her medically first. And she did have a trach. So that does require a level of sedation because they want to pull it out and whatnot, and obviously. So I think I don't know what they had her on as far as a sedative, and they aren't talking about it here. But it sounds like whatever it is isn't super heavy duty because she is clearly carrying on a conversation between herself and the psychiatrist, and her thoughts are linear. And even when we look at her handwriting, it's not, I mean, it's neat and it's legible. You can read what she's writing. So what I'm curious about is this whole situation with her state of mind. And to me, it still sounds like to me that at the time of the crime, she wasn't psychotic because there was no intervention there. And I think they would have talked about this, that there was some type of psychiatric intervention for her to get her out of a psychotic state, right? I mean, yes, she was sedated, but once she comes out of sedation, she's obviously not sedated now, because that was the whole reason he couldn't talk to her on the 8th and he had to come back. So she's she's having a reasonable conversation. So how did they stop her from being in a psychotic episode? So okay, so 22 tantrums. She has a very tumultuous relationship between her Chloe and her mother. It's very tumultuous. And her dad, although he lived in the home, he would spend a great deal of time out of the home, like away from the home and traveling for work. And so it was really just her mom and her 2 older brothers. And so she, at 16 years old, left her home to go and live with a boyfriend. And at 16 is when she first met this guy. And after she broke up with the boyfriend that she had moved in with, she reached out to him and contacted him again. That's the story. Personally, I feel that there is more to it than that. I feel that on some level, Chloe is protecting him, because I don't think that they started having a relationship when she was, 18. I think it started before that. Well, I would think that they would ask about that, Kimberly, wouldn't you? Like, I would feel like that would be the first, if the whole crux of the situation is her mental, her mental status at the time of the crime, and this is the 10th, so 2 days after, I feel like they would be asking about medications. Maybe they will, and I just haven't gotten there yet. Yeah, they met at a bus stop. So I do think that there's something that she's protecting him in that way, because he feels entitled, and so to me it seems like he wouldn't necessarily see an issue with being 38 years old and having a relationship of any kind with a 16-year-old. His only concern, in my opinion, would be that what would happen if he were caught, which is why I think that he ingrained it into Chloe that she needs to tell, that they need to be on the same page and they need to tell the same story each time, every time, consistently. I do think on some level that I think she's covering for him in that way. Yes, 22 tantrums. She says it in that thing that she got pregnant at 17 and delivered the baby shortly after turning 18, which is probably another reason why he had her check out of, first of all, he didn't even want her to deliver the baby in a hospital. Let's start there. Okay. But she did. And I think that is the main reason why they left the hospital AMA with the baby, and why Hannah never had a birth certificate, because he did not want the hospital doing the math, as it were. I think the reason, motive is a really hard thing to prove, because most motives are like, when they are presented in court, it's a single motive, for the most part, right? But I think people's motivations for doing anything aren't singular. I think they're like human beings, multifaceted, and there's layers to them. And so I think that's one of the reasons why motive isn't something that's required always to prove. But I also think that in a situation like this, where you have a baby, she was 13 months old, and she was brutally stabbed 4 times by her own mother. The jury wants to know why. Not that they would ever agree with the reason, not that they would ever understand the reason, but they want to hear a reason. And I think that's just human nature. We want to hear a reason, no matter how ridiculous the reason is, or in this situation, or any situation when it comes to a child, there would never be a reason. There's never a good reason to murder a child, but people still want, like, our brains are always trying to understand and figure out why would somebody do this? So yeah, but I promise I'm going to get off of here, because I just want to give Allie an opportunity, if she wants to go live before it gets too late. It's a school night for her. So I'm going to end this. But I think what I can do is I can either finish up tomorrow during the day or tomorrow night. If you guys will let me know in the comment section, I would appreciate that. Let me know what you guys would rather me do. And I will schedule a live accordingly. Just let me know what's best for you guys. And also because there is part of me that wants to get all of this information that is on Reddit. Now, I will say this, and I'm going to say this right now, and then if I ever present anything from Reddit is one of those places, okay? Like, unless it's a link to an actual article or a link to an actual document, you got to sort of like take what's on Reddit with a grain of salt. But I'll say this, that one thing about Reddit that's good is that in some situations, in a lot of situations, it can give you, like, it's a good starting point to do your own research, to go down your own rabbit hole. Do you know what I mean? And find out things for yourself. You just got to be careful. You can't always take everything on Reddit, as 100% truth. So anyway, all right. I want to thank you guys for being here tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you have not done so already, please, 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 please do me a favor.
And Kai, when you're on Jen Lou's channel, what do you do with the like button?
Smash, smash, smash! Yeah.
All right. So give your girl a thumbs up or a thumbs down. It's, depends on you guys, whatever you felt. And I will either see you guys tomorrow morning, or I'll see you guys tomorrow evening. Just let me know either way. All right. You guys have a great rest of your night. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. All right.